Hello and welcome to another episode of Sav Exclusive. I am your host, Natasha Brown, and with me today is an elite entrepreneur. I like to call her that. She is beautiful, she is smart, astute, and very much eloquent and get in the bag. So you don't want to go anywhere, you want to stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. So with us here is Zuri Walth. I absolutely love your name.
Thank
Zuri
you.
and then Esther, Queen Esther, Wealth, get in the bag. You're all of those and you are the CEO of Japanow and also Lakesh Jewelry. How do you do all of that?
Um, let's just say I try my best. I'm a workaholic, so.
I see. Okay, it's not telling on you though that you're a workaholic. Okay, so please quickly tell us about your childhood. What was it like growing up?
I lived what I would call a triangle life, growing up. My mom thought that the best way she could protect us from the world was to keep us from the world. So we only go to school, we only go to church, and we come back home. So triangle, school, church, home. And she thought that was what was best for us.
I can imagine. So that would have probably made you more of an introvert.
Yes. So till today, I'm actually, I would like to describe myself as an introvert extrovert or an extroverted introvert. I'm totally fine being at home all by myself all day, all week.
Japanow is a travel agency, and then it requires you to be out there marketing your product, talking to people, and all of that. So you almost cannot be an introvert,
Exactly.
having that kind of business. How has it been for you, though, your startup journey?
Well, initially it was really hard because when you have grown up being locked up in the house and you're coming out for the first time, it's like you've been in prison for years and then they release you to the world. It was crazy for me, especially looking at the fact that a lot of females my age seemed to know a lot more than I did. It's like when I ask a female a question, she's like, "Where have you been? Like, aren't you on this earth?" So it was hard. I had to learn a lot, but I think I'm a fast learner because I had to do a lot of catching up, watch a lot of movies, make quite a number of friends that loved to go out as well because it helped me to actually like going out and talking to people, especially about my kind of business. So I am a fast learner, so I was able to catch up.
Okay, absolutely. So now let's go right into it. Japanow, tell us a bit about it.
Okay, Japanow is a business, it's a travel agency basically that helps people study or work abroad. That's outside Nigeria or outside Africa. We also help people go on tours, like maybe you want to celebrate your birthday outside the country, you want to celebrate your honeymoon, you want to have a destination wedding, you want to be a citizen of another country, and so on and so forth.
Okay, yeah. So with this Japanow, so basically you're advocating for us to leave the country.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but there's something amazing about traveling out, working or studying outside the country. It expands your horizons mentally and psychologically. When you study outside the country, it helps you to know how to face the world outside, out there. It opens your eyes to the kind of things that people do out there. You don't just lock yourself up in the country or in your house. It's good to travel because it exposes you to meet different kinds of people, to see the way people who are not from your country actually reason and think, and it helps you to make better judgment of life in general.
For me, actually, I even really love what you do because, especially from the tourist angle, I like
Yeah.
to travel, so I'm very much big on stuff like that.
Okay.
But you are based in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
How are you able to raise clientele? Because I know most of the travel agencies that are forerunning and progressive and making a lot of money are mostly based in Lagos or the Abujas and all. So Port Harcourt, how has it been for you, the terrain and all?
Yeah.
Getting your market.
Yeah, when people hear that we're based in Port Harcourt, it's like they say, what good thing can come out of Nazareth, you know? So, well, that's where social media comes in. I mean, with social media and with the internet, you're able to reach a wide range of people. 90% of our clients have never met me in person. You know, they only know the company.
And they've trusted you with their millions.
Yes. When we started, it was based on referral, basically, because no matter how much you advertise, if people haven't seen your works or heard someone talk about you, they might be skeptical, especially when it comes to travel agents. You know, when people hear travel agent, the first thing they think about is scam. You know, so you have to show working, you know. So initially it was based on referrals, you know, people trusting us, people referring us to this person, and then we grew from there.
So there is something about travel agencies. I'm sure you probably have gotten this too from people where they say that most travel agencies are a front for a lot of fraudulent activities. That when you see a lot of ladies go into the travel agency industry and say, oh, they own a travel agency, it's just a front for illegal things happening to fund their lifestyle, so to speak. What do you have to say about that?
Well,
do you even get that? Do you get that from time to time?
Yeah, of course, a lot. Because as a female, you know, generally, even as a female, when you appear in a room, the first thing that people think about you is that you have no brain. Especially if you're beautiful and you're fashionable. And so, I don't know, I was telling you before this interview, I was telling you about how a friend of mine was to introduce me to someone or a group of people 2 days ago. And he said, when we get there, make sure you open your mouth and speak, because they need to know that you have a brain. You know, so for the females, you have to prove yourself extra. If a guy walks into a room and you say, oh, this guy is the CEO of this, or this guy owns this, you don't doubt. But when a lady walks in and you say, oh, this lady is the CEO of this, the first thing you think about, oh, she probably slept her way to the top, or somebody probably just opened this business for her so she can use it as a front. Yeah, so as a female, you have to prove yourself extra. You have to work extra hard to prove yourself, number one. Number two, people will always think what they want to think. What matters is, what do you think about yourself and what does God think about you? I feel that is what matters.
Absolutely, well spoken. I agree. I agree with you on what you just said, what you think about yourself and what God says about you. When you're honest with yourself, it really doesn't matter what other people say, because you know who you are and what your core is. Very well spoken. So tourism in Nigeria most of the time is seen as a luxury sport. It's almost like you're going to play golf, because people are thinking, well, where do we want to get this money to travel? Have we even seen money to eat or money to, you know, transport ourselves from here to there? And there comes this lady talking about traveling abroad, studying abroad and all of that. I'm not even talking about schooling abroad now, but just for leisure, traveling, exposure. What do you think about that mentality that it's a luxury sport?
Well, first of all, we have to even understand the importance of something before we decide to go into it. Now, tourism is not just going out to have fun per se. Tourism actually helps you in your life, in your career, in your business, if you look at it the right way. First of all, it opens your eyes to see how other people do the same business. I have a client that goes to specific countries because she wants to know how her business, her kind of business is being run outside the country. So she tells me, these are the kind of places I want to visit. You know, so we curtail her packages based on her interest, based on where she wants to go, based on what she wants to see. You know, and for the affordability, yes, you might not be able to afford going to some countries, maybe Dubai, UAE, you know, maybe even the UK and so on and so forth, but you can afford to go to maybe a fellow West African country just to see what the life is like out there. And you never know what you would see. You might make business partners. Before I even became a travel agent, I used to like traveling a lot because it helped me to actually see people who are doing my kind of business, people who are in my line of career, meet people in other countries that I can communicate with and know, how do you guys do this? How do you guys do that? You know, it's very essential. You never know, you might even get inspiration to open a new line of business by the time you travel and come back.
Okay. So I think there people save with you for a number of months? Do people do that to be able to travel? For example, if someone wanted to travel to Dubai or Seychelles, do you have the avenue where someone saves with you installmentally up
Yes.
until that time?
Yes, you can have a payment plan. We have payment plans for different countries. Our most important product right now in terms of tourism is Dubai. And people have been saving, like sending maybe 100,000 each month or maybe 150 each month, in preparation for the day of their trip.
Okay, I also know that you own Lakesh jewelries, but for us to get into that, it will just be after this break. We'll be right back.
Have you gotten your PVC? As the 2023 Nigerian general elections draw nearer, do not be an onlooker. You can better still join a party and get your PVC ready. Our leaders have started showing interest to run. So what are you waiting for? Do not say your vote do not count. Yes, it does, because if it doesn't, the politicians will be running after you to buy your votes. Let your voice be heard through participation.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
Welcome back. So another of your products is Lakesh jewelry that you're the creator of. Sorry to say. So have you always seen yourself toying this part? Jewelry line, travel agency?
None of the businesses I'm doing came to me in a dream or anything. Like, for example, the jewelry line, it was more like a hustle to me. When I was done with secondary school and it was time to go to the university, I realized that my mom could not afford to, afford my education and all that. So I had two options. I even wrote JAMB not even knowing if I would pass or not, because people told me, oh, you have to write JAMB like 2 or 3 times. So when I wrote JAMB, I realized I passed. I had two options, according to my friends. Is it that you do runs or you do business? So I decided, okay, I'm going to do business. And so I already had started learning how to make beads. And so what I did was, when I don't have lectures, I put my beads in a bag and I hawk them around the university. I go from department to department. I hawk to lecturers, to students. I had different kinds of beads and different levels, depending on the one you can afford and all that, different prices. So I would hawk them, put the money together, cook, maybe pay my fees, buy my handouts, and so on and so forth. That's how I was able to survive through school, by God's grace.
Okay, I really like your story. There seems to be some tenacious spirit behind this calm, serene person that we see here. Because a lot of people would say there are no jobs, unemployment is on the increase, and people will say that you can almost excuse what people do. For example, recently on Twitter, social media, we saw the whole uproar with the whole bestiality. Ladies are getting involved in, especially in states like Lagos and Abuja, because of monies. They need monies to be able to maybe feed or fend for themselves or put themselves through school or whatever it is, or maybe even fund their startup business, right? But from your story, it's almost saying to us there really is no excuse, because you're pretty and you're able to do that, but still you chose to hawk your jewelry while in school. So it's something. But would you say that people, there are things that you can excuse? For example, with ladies going about to seek, probably they don't know a handwork or they don't have a particular skill. So they're going this other way to be able to get monies. Would you say that there is a slight excuse to it, or you say there is absolutely no excuse to that?
Well, I personally believe that there's always a way out. Even the Bible says it, there's always a way out. Where you think there's no way, God creates a way. There's always a way out. And now we don't really have so much excuse as before, because there is no skill that you want to learn that you cannot seek for. Even on YouTube, you can go online. There are free skills. I have a friend that creates courses and courses of 5,000, 10,000 and all that. But everything that he is selling, he learned them for free on YouTube. All you have to do is get internet data. So I feel there's always a way out. And I feel like for these ladies, I'm not judging anyone, but I feel like it starts from the mind. It's a mentality thing. If you have poverty mentality, they can pay you 1.5 million to do what you deep down inside do not even want to do. You can twist your values, you can shift your values, you can excuse going against your values for that amount of money. Recently, I was asking someone, what can 1.5 do for you? It can't even buy you a car. You know, so I
You
feel like
could buy you a second hand or something.
a second-hand car that will come with other issues, and you have to do more and more bestiality to be able to fund that car. You know, so I'm just saying, you know, on a very serious note, there is always a way out. There is no excuse. So there's no excuse, really. There's always a way out. There are needs everywhere. All you have to do is pray for God to open your eyes. And the reason why I keep saying pray is because my businesses are founded on prayers. Even the name of my company, Japanow, you know, it was dropped in my heart while I was praying. There is nothing that cannot be solved through prayer. Yes, I know the Bible says someone tells you I'm hungry, you can't just pray for the person to be filled, you know. But you can pray to God for insight. The Bible says, I would show you where to go. You will hear a voice saying, go to the left or go to the right. You will always have a way out. I know I didn't tell you this before the interview, but when I relocated to Port Harcourt late 2019, I was penniless. You know, I had hit rock bottom. And it was a bad time for me because 2020 was the pandemic, right?
Oh, yes.
And my business was a jewelry business. And nobody
needs jewelry,
right?
Wear in their houses, yeah.
Exactly. Nobody needs jewelry. Nobody wants to travel because the whole world was shut down.
Lockdown, yeah.
You know, so I had to pray to God to help me to know what to do, where to go, what needs to meet. You know, and all of a sudden, before you know it, somebody is giving me money. Oh, can you help me write this? Or can you help me do this? I'm in the comfort of my home and somebody is calling me and saying, can you help me do this? Or can you help me do this radio advert? Just do a voice note and so on and so forth. There is always a need to be met. So you can't tell me that you're doing this because there is no other option. Try everything. I always say it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. A lot of these ladies have not even tried at all. Try first and fail.
What about the ones who have really tried?
The ones who have really tried, well, I feel like...
keep trying?
Yes, keep trying. Because if you're going through hell, do you turn back or you go through? You go through. You keep trying. I mean, I didn't die, so, I mean, you're not going to die.
Very
well
spoken.
Yeah.
Very, very well spoken. So I'd like to say, based off of what we've been saying, do you think that everybody's wired as a startup entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur? Do you think everybody's wired that way? Some people, I think personally, are wired to work for people. They don't want to take the responsibility for themselves, whether they're creating the product or whatever. Mine is tell me what to do and let me deliver. But when we have people come up to say, learn a skill, start something, do something, we are almost dragging people out of who they are or who they think that they are into something else, just because the government wouldn't do their part or create an enabling environment for people such as yourself to thrive, so they can get gainfully employed. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I want to ask you: do you think everybody is wired to be an entrepreneur?
Yes and no. Yes, because who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur, in summary, is somebody that sees a need and meets it and gets paid for it, right? And no, because a lot of people just think that being an entrepreneur, because you see people driving Lamborghinis outside, you think, oh, being an entrepreneur is all rosy. My dear, it is work and sweat if you want to be an entrepreneur. So what I think, or what I feel personally, is that before you even decide to be an entrepreneur or be on your own as a business person, work under a few people. You know, I mean, even before I went into the university, I was a waitress. In the university, I was hawking jewelry. I came out from the university, I've worked as a salesperson, as a waitress, as a PA. I've worked as a business manager. I've worked under people. And so because I have worked under people, I understand how my employees feel. You know, I understand what it means to be hurt by your employer. I understand what it means to not be able to meet a particular target when your employer tells you to do something. You know, a lot of people who just jump into being entrepreneurs and have not actually gone through being an employee might find it hard understanding their workers, and in the end, they frustrate their workers. You know, so I feel that everyone has the ability to see a need and meet it and get paid for it. That is, they have the ability to be an entrepreneur, but it is advisable for you to actually be a worker for somebody first. Serve first. Be a servant first. That way you know how to be a good leader.
If everybody's selling, who is going to buy? Who's going to do the buying? If everybody tells how to be an entrepreneur, no, on the real.
Yeah.
That's something that I keep asking people when they say, start your business, you know, get a skill, do something. If everybody starts selling, who is going to buy? Because still we understand that there are the people who do the selling and create the product, and then they create a system where revenue is created in the market. And because revenue is created, some people have the monies and the buying power, the purchasing power to buy. You know, so at the end of the day, if we keep saying everybody be an entrepreneur, at the end, who's going to buy what?
Exactly. Even as a worker for someone, you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit. As you know, for example, I have a content creator, a cinematographer. I have these different people, and they actually come up with their own ideas. You know, so even if you're working for someone, you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit. You have to have that entrepreneurial mindset as well. That helps your business. That helps the company that you're even working for.
I love what you've said. So quickly, yeah? You're such a soft-spoken person. I wonder, in your line of business as a travel agency CEO, do you get to meet really demanding clients that really drain you out? And how do you even work with such people based off of your personality?
Well, first of all, it's essential as a business owner, even as someone who deals with clients a lot, it's essential for you to have a calm spirit. Even the Bible says it, that you should always respond with you should have a soft response even for an angry soul, you know, because a lot of times people will be angry and you don't respond to anger with anger. You don't respond to anxiety with anxiety or anger. You need to make the customer feel heard, feel listened to, because there's a difference between hearing someone and actually listening to someone. You need to make the clients feel that you understand what they're going through. But at the same time, the calmness makes the client know that, look, this is not the first time we're experiencing this, and we are actually capable of handling your complaints without being shaken. We're not caught unawares.
Okay, so lastly, what would be your advice to young ladies on the come up?
Well, for every young lady out there, I would say, first of all, be very prayerful, because there is nothing that I have done without, praying to God or asking Him for help, even though, yes, we make mistakes. But being prayerful means that you're inviting God to everything that you do. Secondly, I would say, if you decide to tow a particular path, throw yourself into it. Learn the skills needed. Don't just say, I am this, and then you're sitting on the fence when it comes to actually doing the work. Decide to do the work. Don't think that everybody is there to serve you. Yes, it's good to be positive. It's good to have affirmations that you say every day. Yes, the world is going to work for me and everything. But at the same time, go out there knowing that whatever it is that you want, you have to take it. Nobody is going to sit down and wait for you to just take it on a platter of gold. You have to do the work.
Thank you so much for coming here today. I enjoyed absolutely having this conversation with you. And I hope through your platform, I'm going to do some Japaring as well.
No problem.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have found this conversation very engaging. Do stay tuned with us. Remember that this is Thaf TV and you want to follow us on all social media platforms. As for Japanow, also, what are your social media handles?
Okay, for the travel agency, we are at Japanow. That's JAKPANOW. On Instagram, you can also search on YouTube, Facebook. It's the same thing everywhere. For Lakesh, we are Lakesh_designs. That's LAKESH_designs on all platforms as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching with us. Bye for now.